Hi, I'm Greg Grant, the Smith County horticulturist with the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service, and today we're in the Heritage Rose Garden, which is a part of the Smith County Master Gardener's Tyler Botanical Garden, located within the Tyler Rose Garden here in Tyler, Texas. In the Heritage Rose Garden, not only do we feature old-fashioned roses or antique garden roses, we also feature antique plants that would have been grown at the same time that those roses were popular. So basically things that your grandmother and her grandmother and her grandmother grew. A lot of pass-along heirloom plants. Well, one of the most classic pass-along heirloom plants in the South are Crinum lilies. Now, people in the North don't know about crinums. People in Europe don't know about crinums because they're not cold hardy in those climates. But in the South, they are to the South what peonies are to the North. Big, bold heirloom pass-alongs that a lot of people had. You pretty much don't buy them at commercial nurseries. They're really hard to dig. Some of them have bulbs the size of footballs, but once you get them dug up, you might have 10, 15 bulbs in there that you can share with all your family members. They're iconic in cemeteries in the South because, of course, they're lily-like. Now, they're not true lilies. They're actually in the amaryllis family. And they come in pink, they come in white, and they come in striped, or what often referred to as milk and wine lilies. In this case, it's an old cultivar called Cecil Howdashell. And so it's not the showiest of crinums. It has fairly small, pale pink flowers. But years ago, not that many years ago, I was at LSU in Baton Rouge, and I had my crinum collection with me there. And so one summer I counted the number of bloom stalks on all the crinums to see who bloomed the most. And the winner of my little impromptu trial was Cecil Howdashell that made the most bloom stalks during the growing season. So some crinums only bloom once. Some are spring, early season bloomers, early summer, some midsummer, some late summer, and some of them just crank them out all season long. So Cecil Howdashell was an example of one of those that cranked them out all season long. So just an old-fashioned heirloom plant that never dies. My mentor, Dr. Welch, said no crinum has ever died, and unless you go too far north and freeze them, they don't. They live forever. They come from parts of Africa. Their ancestors do either a lake a part of the time, a desert a part of the time, so they can tolerate standing water. They can tolerate extreme drought. That's why they made the big bulbs to store up water. One story you don't hear a lot is about the Peggy Martin rose. They say the only thing that survived on Peggy Martin's property was the rose that later got named the Peggy Martin rose. But what gets failed to mention is also a crinum survived, because you're not going to kill a crinum. And so a storm can't kill a crinum. Now I want to show you a trick though. They can get kind of ratty looking because as the blooms go past, sometimes the foliage on summer bulbs can get kind of ratty. Well, unlike spring and fall bulbs, if the foliage looks bad on a summer bulb, think Crinum hymenecalis canna, you can cut all the leaves off. They're going to flush out new leaves and still continue to bloom, so that's handy. But also, if you got somebody coming to visit, or you're trying to take a picture, you don't want to see all these dead blooms in there. And so let me show you a trick. If you're young enough to do the bend and snap, you can literally take a bloom stalk and give it a quick tug and pull it out, and so the spent bloom stalks, you just rip them out of there like such. If you can't do that, you just take your clippers and go down at the base and you can snip it off or break it off like that. But you still got, some flowers are open and some are finished. One cool thing about crinums, every bud will open up, not only in the garden, but in your house. So these make great cut flowers. You bring them inside, every single bud opens up, but it does the same thing inside as the flowers go past. They mostly last a day. They're not bloomers, they're pollinated by moths, but let me show you the really easy way to deadhead and tidy up crinums. They're really brittle, so you just take all the spent flowers, pull down on them, they snap right off like that. That one's spent, so I'm gonna get that stalk out of there all together. Good ones, good ones. And then nothing flat, you've got nothing but good flowers on your crinum, either in your bouquet or in your landscape. So if the queen's coming to tea tomorrow, you can clean up your crinums really quick and have nothing but good flowers on there. And you can pick them as a bouquet, and they're gonna last a week, and every single flower is gonna open up for you. This is an old crinum I got from the Fanix nursery, a third-generation nursery in San Antonio when I worked there years ago. Fragrant. Now, there are some people that say they like the fragrance of crinum. Some people say they don't like the fragrance. Well, every crinum has a different fragrance, and so just because you like one doesn't mean you're gonna like them all. And just because you don't like one, so Crinum bulbospermum that grows in the ditches in central Texas kind of has a bleach smell. This kind of has a perfume smell. We have a Miss James Henry over there that smells like Fruit Loops, and so every crinum is different, but they mainly release that fragrance at night, and you'll see hawk moths or hummingbird moths bumbling their way in the middle of these flowers, getting the pollen. Now, almost all the garden crinums we grow are sterile, so they don't make any seeds, so the pollinators are really kind of wasting their time. But great cut flowers, great garden flowers, can't kill them, flood, drought, you name it. Iconic in Texas cemeteries, and so whether it be white, pink, or striped, they're all easy to grow plants.